Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. The purpose of this video is to present some artwork depicting some of the experiences that I've had that I can't show. Some of the detail, some of the things that I've spoken about over the years, a lot of things that I haven't. So starting off, these are the first two that I did. On the left here we have the Pleiades, and over here we have Orion's bells. So Alnitak, Alnilam and Mintaka. There's a lot more stars we could say in both locations, but this was just to see, can I actually do this, because I hadn't picked up a paintbrush. Geez, I'm 40 now. I think the last time would have been 16 years old. I've done the odd drawing here and there to depict some things, but that's pretty much it. If I could do this, I was like, all right, maybe I can do some other things. So that's where I sort of went a little bit deeper, which we'll go into now. So this one here is depicting Shiji, which many of you are probably acquainted with the best-selling series that I've done, the Book of Shiji, with Shiji, as well as many other intelligences that have come through. Now, she is originally from the Pleiades, and it's depicting also a craft up here, one of the light ships. This is also depicting the aura, the energy that you feel emanating from her. And this is one of the many aspects. There are light being aspects as well, that anybody that knows the material, it's a lot to go into. So this is depicting the Elohim. They can appear as, in this case I see them sometimes as 7 foot tall light beings that are predominantly, this is sort of like an electric blue energy. They can appear as columns of light. This is what I call the crystal cave, usually 12 of them. The effects that I've done in the background here is to show that you're basically in a cave without an entrance. It's like you're in a dome of, I don't know how to describe it except like quartz crystal that's got pulsating light within it. In Operation Starseed, which was done a decade ago, actually more than 12 years ago I think that was written now. And in one scenario, half of the lounge room turned into this. And I was getting projections shown physical with downloads on a lot of intelligence, meaning intel, on what I needed to be aware of at that time. So yeah, that's just some of the stuff depicting the Elohim. Many have heard me speak about this being. It's probably the funniest thing I've ever met, and I will say thing, and I know he wouldn't mind me saying that. Very similar to E.T. from the movie E.T., but black eyes, a darker brown. This area I sort of, we could say, screwed up, and I just wanted to leave the mouth area. I actually had it pretty much spot on before I did what I did. I didn't sketch anything. At times I'll just use black paint straight up to sketch sort of an outline, but this is just paint to canvas, every single one of them. So this being, it's originally from near the galaxy GNZ 11. It's doing a lot of different projects, but resides in Orion at this time. Now, Orion gets a bad rap. From what I know on the outer fringes near Rigel is where you've got reptilians, and of course, so there are beautiful beings there. We've got a huge influence here on Earth with our heritage and background with Orions, as well as many other spacefaring cultures, as well as Arcturus and Sirians and Pleiadians, and the list really does go on and on. This is, I don't know why I even did it this way, but there's some crafts that this being is in that's almost like an acorn shape, and some that just look like they're on fire, and other times you can actually see the top half look like a city skyline on fire, and the bottom is like a meteorite. Now, anyone that knows my books and story, this is Padma, and Padma is a being from Sirius. Now, I had a visit from this being one day with another two beings, and it was quite interesting because I was meditating and laying back on a lazy boy, and they appeared physically in my mind's eye, but when I opened my eyes they were still there standing over me, but they looked like ghosts. They were in apparition form. And over a couple of visits they proceeded to pull my energy out like rainbow energy being pulled out, and they were running their poor palms through it like they were tuning it. So this one here is a tall brown Orion. I say tall, but they're not really. They're about 5 foot. They remind me of Roger the alien from American Dad. Black eyes, head's very similar shape to that, sort of a dark brown. They work with smaller ones, and the smaller ones actually appeared on the Wise Ones ship from the regression with Mary, and I've had a lot of encounters with them since. This is depicting inside a craft. Now, I haven't sort of done a great job with that, but there is no corners or anything in it. This particular being in the crafts that I'll see it on at times, it's like they could make rooms up, and that the walls are made from energy, and it's sort of sometimes it can be more blue, sometimes it can be more white, but there's usually a tinge of each colour within it, so it could be white with a tinge of blue to it, or vice versa. And it's what I describe as organic living light. They've got the technology to do that. So I've seen physical objects like what appear to be metal chairs in there that aren't, but they've got the technology to project that. So that's the tall brown Orion. And going on from that, here is a painting I've done representing some of the activity that occurs at ECETI. The first visit I had there, I think, was around 2015. I saw these purple translucent orbs, broad daylight. Subsequent visits, I actually had an experience with a Bigfoot that was about my height, so around 6 foot. And there is a lot of activity going on there in terms of lights and activity on the mountain, which myself and James has been filming this stuff how long I've been alive. Flying saucers, you get power-ups, but also representing Orion there, as well as the clouds that appear over the mountain. And in some cases they can be ships cloaked, as weird as that is. So I'm not one for saying that every cloud's a ship and what have you, but there's some quite strange activity going on there. So Master James Gilliland's place, it's quite interesting. What I've got here is artwork depicting an off-world visit, which I didn't speak about for many years, around 10 years. I was in my office one day at the time when I was living in Lavington around 2014, and a Elohim orb came in. It turned into a column of light, basically got a message to approach it, and when I did it, turned back into an orb of light, and I was teleported to these three places and spent a handful of minutes at each one. Coming to is popping a bit of nausea and vertigo because it was a split-second thing adapting to this environment. What I've done here, the best that I can, is describe where I went to, and it actually ties in with the sanctuary here, why I've got certain things a certain way. This here is a place in Sigma Orionis, Adiga Hea of Zion. The sky was purple. I was sort of running out, but I think this gives it a cool effect because it wasn't all the one shade. And it was very rainforesty, and there was flowers that looked like tulips, but they were absolutely gigantic. And I was approached by a few beings there that turned into rainbow light beings. And the Elohim orb was with me and turned into a column of light and would sort of lead the way with intelligences with where I appeared. In this case here, I was taken to a stone circle. Now, when I approached it and went in it, what occurred was a projection, like as if I was in half a sphere of script that was like Sanskrit, Hebrew, I don't know, and I'll be going more into this in a moment as well. There was a download component to it, and then I was taken here, which is a place called Liga in the Pleiades. It's a place that pays homage to the Lyrans and the beings from Vega in that sector. This was like a type of crystal obelisk that there was light that came out of it like a ripple effect, and there was blue humanoid feline intelligences there that were like protector beings from what I got, as well as throne light intelligences. So after that I was taken to Sirius, and it was a place, Alea Zaya of Sirius B. Now you can see a bit of a stream between the pyramid, that's Kali down there, bottom there, one of the beings that I've interfaced with. I don't know if it was a Sphinx that I saw there. It was something similar, I didn't get a good look at it. It was real rainforest, you know. I was taken straight into a pyramid that was about the size of a house, like an average house, a lot taller of course. And I was approached and taken into a state to where I was in 3 places, in meeting places in Orion, the Pleiades and Sirius simultaneously. And there was phone intelligences there that had script. It's like they were on fire in light with script on their face. I describe this a lot more in Ascending, my latest book. And basically later it was revealed that I wasn't even gone a second out of time. This is Pankei from A Council in Orion. It's turned out alright, I'm not 100% happy with it, but this is depicting the rainbow energy that you go into, but before you do that you're in a Merkaba state. So it's a physical being, this is like an initiation device on top and a scepter. This being can go from physical state into the Merkaba, which is the light body, the chariot, throne. We could say when you go into Hebrew, that's what Merkaba means. And then from the Merkaba, you go into the rainbow body. You merge into all that is, and then through thought, you basically pop out wherever you want. So there's ways you can do that with the electron. There's also ways that you can do that with the photon, which really this is your photon, robe of light, and the image of God that you are, which is the Merkaba. And what you get with some of these Orions is they look, well in this case, a blend of Native American, Caucasian and Asian. It's a man, and I've just tried to do the best that I can to depict Pankei. Now if that isn't trippy enough, on my birthday, the 22nd of November last year, 2023, I had a nap around lunchtime. I woke up to this around midday in my lounge room. Now forget the yellow and the grey blotching I've done around it. This was about 5 foot tall. The blue was there. So it was a blue shape, geometric thing like this. And there was where the purple is and the yellow, there was nothingness. But what the purple is representing in this is a slight rainbow iridescent outline, and then it was blue again, and there was a slight rainbow iridescent outline again. So if you can imagine this, see through in these parts and in between, it was alive. And what it had was these 3 balls, and they were eyeballs and blinking. And the communication I had was this was Archangel Michael in this form. Alright, so this here is a being I call Mother. I've had probably 10 interactions in about a decade with her, and a couple of years ago a family member and a girlfriend of mine at the time had seen this being walk past one of the windows in broad daylight. So she just checks in on me. I've never really spoken about it. What we've got here is a friend and I were doing an experiment where we would stare somewhere with the intention of making contact and just to see what would happen. Well, what happened was an Aboriginal man, an original man appeared, and this was sort of like from the lower chest down, painted on the beam. With this one over here, this was an image from communication with the intelligence that I'm speaking about of the meeting place symbol. And anyone that knows me would have seen this pop up over and over, and I've got it here painted on rocks, and this is to represent that here as well. It represents multi-dimensional meeting place. So yeah, I thought I'd share that as well. This is one of the Guardians. Now, the skin is white and it's like cigarette ash, the texture. Black eyes. This is depicting an experience where it looked like the fabric of space ripped open in my home one time, and one of these beings popped their head through it. Now they come in variations of sizes of around 3.5 foot, 5 foot, 7 foot. And so if you can imagine this area here, that's actually just my lounge room. There wasn't this stuff behind it. It was just almost a blinding but bearable white light behind it. These beings are the ones that also started visiting me between the ages of 8 and 12 at that period where it was sort of regularly on and off. The Guardians, they're not extraterrestrials, they're trans-dimensional intelligences. They're at stars, which are portals, they're at synthetic and natural portal sites, and they monitor a lot of different things. So they've got multiple different purposes, and they're actually white light beings. So they can appear as a column of white light, even orbs of light. So I have a lot of astral experiences, and this image here is depicting my physical body, how I see it from a multidimensional state at times when I come back from out of body. Okay, so this is Padmasambhava, and Padma is known to have been in India for 1,000 years and then went to Tibet, and also assisted with bringing the rainbow body teachings. One day Padmasambhava appeared like that in my mind's eye, and there was some transmissions, and that was quite an experience. Over the years, you've heard me talk about the ERC, the Elohim Representative Council, and this cathedral of light. This is the best way I could depict it. These are Elohim intelligences in columns of light. The place is structured from, we could say, rainbow light, and at times the white will be where it is, other times it will be dark. And on information, on feelings and emotions of myself, others that are there that are from their own areas, we could say their own planets and their own space and time, along with the Elohim, the energy that we feel, our emotions, intel that we're reporting on, what have you, there's a lot of stuff that happens, can also affect the intensity and the brightness of the lights. It's a living place. So this here is Kuan Yin. I've had a handful of experiences with her physically. A lot of the time, she's coming in a astral, energetic or psychic form when assisting other people, and even with my meditations, one of them specifically cutting cords. I've worked with her with that to assist others. To wrap it up is one that's off the wall. In the dream time, in the dream state, I appeared in a realm. It was very much like this. I've actually done a pretty good job depicting it the best that I could. What originally occurred was I was with this gentleman with a white beard, white hair, a golden chest piece and a white robe. Now, we were in this situation of darkness, but rainbow light, like a river, it was liquid energy light around us, almost like ribbons of light, how I'm trying to depict it here. And through telepathic communication with authority and power, but yet love, said, think of somewhere and go there, remember. So I started to think of places, and flash would appear here, flash would appear here, you know, so on and so on. And then all of a sudden we appeared in a scene like this, where the rainbow energy is around us, but there was this golden paved walkway up to a temple type complex. We walked in there, and we got to this section where there was different saints, sages and masters, and they were a bit taken aback as we walked in. Next minute I woke up, physically. So this all happened in a dream. Next I woke up in my bedroom, physically here at Jaya Sanctuary, and this appeared. Now this is a bit crazy, if not already crazy with everything that I'm saying. This was a golden tablet, and in it was this etched in it. It wasn't painted on it, written on it, it was in it. And the tablet itself was probably about that big compared to this painting. So imagine all that as pure gold. Now, it lit up the whole bedroom. Physical experience, I woke up from what I just described to this in my bedroom, lighting up the whole room to my right side. And all of a sudden, at the same time, rainbow energy started projecting from it to me. There was other script flashing a million miles an hour. And the euphoric, the bliss, the love, I actually screamed out from it. And this occurred for a few seconds, and I had to turn away. It was just, I've never experienced anything like it. When I turned away, it stopped, but something in me needed to look back, partly to see if it was still there even though the room was lit up. So I turned back, and for another 10, 15, whatever seconds, the script kept going and rainbow energy kept coming upon me. And then this imploded on itself. That was quite an amazing experience. I'll wrap it up there, but hopefully this gives you an insight to some different perspectives, aspects, and ideas about our true nature, what we're capable of, contact in and of itself, tying the paranormal with extraterrestrial contact in the spirit realm, and at the very least, just some food for thought. So many blessings, and thank you for joining me.